A very good morning to one and all. Welcome back to Geography class. In this class, we are going to see the upcoming point of the chapter number 1. Chapter number 1, Resources and Development. Topic number 7. In this topic number 7, we are going to see about the land degradation and conservation measures. After that, we are going to talk and discuss about why the soil is called as a resource. Dear cadet, in this chapter, we had seen what is the meaning of resource, what are the types of resource, how the interdependent relationship between the human by using the technology and accessing the different physical environment, that means the nature, and converting them into a valuable resource. Classification of resource, different types of resources. After that, what is the planning for the resource, development for the resource. In that, we had also seen about why the land is also called as a resource, utilization of the land, and finally we are on the topic to discuss about what do you mean by land degradation and how we can conserve it, or what are the different conservation measures are there. So dear cadets, please have attention. Please take out your notebook as well as your pen to copy down the important point from this presentation. Soil as a resource also we will discuss. Point number 1. Dear cadet, please, the generalization which I am giving at the starting of each presentation, that's only to recapitulate that whatever we had studied in the flashback, there will be a flow chart in your mind. What we studied, and after that there will be a link between the first point and the second point. In this presentation, first we are going to see about what is land degradation. So let's proceed. We have shared our land with the past generation. We will have to do so with the future generation too. The meaning of this sentence is very simple. We have shared our land with the past generation and will have to do so with the future generation. That means we are using the land which is given by our ancestors, and we have to do so for the future generation also. We have to return 95% of our basic needs of food, shelter, clothing are obtained from land. So this particular point is speaking to you that these are the basic needs which we are taking from the land, which we are obtaining from the land. That's why land is called as a resource. I will just highlight here the few points here, right? Point number here, which is in the red color, right? Need for food, shelter and clothing. These all are obtained from the land, and they are altogether, if we are speaking about, they are of 95%. Okay? Next, human activities have not only brought about degradation of the land, but also aggravated the pace of natural force to cause the damage to the land. So dear cadet, please have attention here. Human being in search of their need and greed is exploiting all the resources which are available in the nature. So land is also one of the natural resource which human being is exploiting by his need or greed. So number of the things human being is doing which leads to land degradation. Next, some human activities. So what are the human activities which are making to be land degraded? So the first paragraph, this I am highlighting for you. This is the first paragraph which I am circling it. This first paragraph, please have a noting, right? This first paragraph is talking about the human activities such as deforestation, cutting of trees in a large number, that's a deforestation, overgrazing, the cattle, the animals which the human being herding, they are making them to graze on the pasture land, and which also leads to the land degradation. Then mining, quarrying have also significantly contributing in the land degradation. So dear cadet, in the examination there will be a question for 3 marks. Describe the human activities which leads to land degradation, or what are the different activities which makes the land to be degraded. So at that time you have to write these points and you have to explain. Next, according to the state wise we are having the data, please write over here IMP, this circle part, right? This part. Next, mining sites are the event after excavation. Work is complete, leaving deep scar and trace overburden. In states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, deforestation due to mining have caused the severe land degradation. So here the point is speaking about how the mining also leads to deforestation. That's why deforestation, mining, quarrying are all in the points which are the human activities which leads the land to be degraded. Next, in states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, overgrazing is one of the main reasons for land degradation. So please make a note of it, the name of the state and for what purpose land is degraded over there. So the reason is overgrazing. Next, in the state like Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, over irrigation is responsible for the land degradation. Due to water logging lead to increase in the salinity and alkalinity in the soil. That means the salt and the acid in the soil. The mineral processing like grinding of limestone for cement industry and silicate and the soap stone for the ceramic industry generate huge quantity of the dust in the atmosphere. It retards the process of infiltration of water into the soil after it settled down on the land. So these are also the number of the reason. The name of the state has been placed here. And what are the activity they are doing? Just the irrigation and the grinding of limestone, which making the soil into the worst situation and the soil is degraded. Moving further, in recent year, industrial effluent as a waste have become a major source of land and water pollution in many parts of country. So industrial effluent are just made to overflow on the land and to submerge into the water, and that's lead to be land and water pollution in many parts of the country. Next, moving further to see the upcoming point from this chapter. Dear cadet, the topic is very simple in nature. We are seeing the points. What are the different activity which is leading to soil and the land to be degraded? There are many ways to solve the problems of land degradation. So dear cadet, here we are on the point to discuss about the safety measure, the conservation measure for land degradation. Again, I am highlighting some points for you. So from here, this whole paragraph is important. Please write down this whole paragraph in point wise in your notebook so you can understand about the safety conservative measures for land degradation. Afforestation. The point number 1, land degradation and how to conserve it. So these are all the points which are speaking to you the conservation for the land degradation. First, afforestation. Afforestation. Then proper management of grazing can help to some extent. Planting of shelter belts of plants. Next, control over grazing, stabilization of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes. So these are the some methods of check the land degradation in arid area. So paragraph number 1 is talking about all the conservation measures. So in examination there will be question for the 3 marks as well as it can be for the 5 marks. What do you mean by the term land degradation and how we can conserve it, and describe the conservative measures to stop the land degradation. I repeat the question. What do you mean by the term land degradation and what are the different ways by which we can conserve it? So in that, first I stated you about to write the different human activity which leads to land degradation, and after that the conservation measure, just the afforestation is here, management of the grazing land in a proper way, then planting of shelter belts that can control over grazing, stabilization of the land. On that we are having the number of the growing thorny bushes, so the stabilization of sand dune can be possible. Please highlight all these points in a systematic way so your answer can be in proper. Again I repeat, afforestation, proper management of grazing, planting of shelter belt, control over the grazing, stabilization of sand dune, and how it's given here. Then the next point, proper management of wasteland. So here we are seeing the proper management of wasteland can control the mining activities. These points also you have to include in your answer. Right? These points. Clear? Proper management of waste, control of mining activities, proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluent and the waste, and after treatment can reduce the land and water degradation in industrial and suburban area. Next we are going to see about the soil as a resource. In 8th standard only we had discussed about why the soil is called as a resource. So moving further to see about the next point. In 8th standard only we have seen all these points which are talking about soil as a resource. So quickly I will share you the first slide which will make you happy by seeing the soil profile. When you were in 8th standard, at that time only you had studied about this soil profile, right? It was like shoes like structure, and it was getting topsoil, upper layers, subsoil, right? Then the weathered parent rock and the last unweathered parent bedrock. I hope so you are recapitulating from the previous knowledge. Next, why the soil is called as a resource? Please write down the question in your notebook. Why the soil is called as a resource? Soil is the most important renewable natural resource. What is the meaning of soil and why the soil is called as a resource? It is a medium of plant growth and support different type of living organism on the earth. The soil is a living system. It takes millions of years to form soil up to a few centimeters in depth. And relief, parent rock, bedrock, climate, vegetation and other forms of life, and the time are important factor in the soil formation. So here the another question, what are the different factors responsible for the formation of the soil? So these are the important factors which are very important for the formation of the soil. Just I am highlighting few of here, right? So from here you have to highlight, right? Then the climate, vegetation, forms of life, and the time, which are the important factor for the formation of the soil, right? Then various forces of nature such as change in the temperature, axis of the running water, which leads to great action of the water, great actions of the wind, glaciers, activities of decomposer, etc., also contribute to the formation of the soil. These also you can add it. Factors responsible for the soil formation. Next, chemical and organic change which take place in the, we are going to discuss about the soil profile. No need to draw the soil profile in your notebook, but please see it carefully. An examination may be possible for 1 mark. It's going to be asked to you, and some point out of it is going to be missed, and it's going to be state, fill it. So at that time the soil profile diagram you have to remember it very well. Next, soil are equally important. Soil are consist of organic, that means human and inorganic material, which already we had seen in the figure number 1.5. So on the basis of the factor responsible for the soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical, physical properties, and the soil of the India are classified into different types. So after that we are going to discuss the different types of soil, the classification of soil. I request you, please write down the questions which are very important on this topic. Why soil is called as a resource, right? Factors which are responsible for the soil formation. Okay, then moving to the next point, classification of soil. India has a very relief features, landform, climate, realms, and vegetation time. These have contributed in the development of the various types of soil: alluvial soil, black soil, red and yellow soil, laterite soil, arid soil, and forest soil, which can be forest and mountain soil. So dear cadets, here we are talking about the classification of the soil, which in detail point we are going to discuss in our last topic, topic number 8, the classification of soil and the soil erosion and soil conservation. So in that we are going to talk and discuss about the 6 type of soil. I request you, those who are having the textbook, please go through the map which is given of the different types of soil in India. Those who are not having, they can access to the ebook from the NCERT website, right? Lastly, I want to highlight the few points which are very important in the terms of examination. The question which I stated to you, please write down the question. Every time I am repeating the point that all the cadet, please do the homework and send your homework photograph to me on my personal WhatsApp number. Lastly, please prepare the notes in a systematic way so that there will be continuity and that the flow chart of this whole concept of this chapter is going to be crystal clear for you. Lastly, I want to mention only the one point. This is the very difficult situation. Few cadets are present in the school and few cadets are out. So for the repetition purpose, I have to teach two time for you. So cadets, not to leave this opportunity, and please study very well. Lastly, thanking to each and everyone for watching the video. Please like it, subscribe it, and share it so that the knowledge gets shared to each and everyone. Thanking to each and everyone. Jai Hind.